It's great, but I think all the others.
Hey, everybody. 5:30, and I will call the regular council meeting of June the 17th to order. Thank you. Councillor Simpson hasn't sent regrets. She has sent intentions to join by remotely, but she's not on yet. No. So she may join us momentarily. We'll see. And as we start our meeting, I think as Indigenous Peoples' Day is just days away, it's appropriate to acknowledge that we are in the traditional territory of the Lac Seul First Nation within the area of Treaty 3, and that many of the people and communities we serve are in the areas of Treaty 5 and 9. And the original name for Sioux was Wananangang, the Bay of Sandy Beaches. And there's many events coming up in the following week or so in honor of Indigenous peoples. So, and I'll be going to a few, and I'm sure everybody else is too. And also, as we start, I would like to acknowledge and congratulate Councillor Van Breda for his national award at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, Emerging Municipal League. And I'm sure you can update us all on that when you have your council report in the meeting. But congratulations, thank you, Councillor Van Breda. Amendments to the agenda.
Theme Mayor Lawrence, I have no.
Thank you. A motion that the agenda for the regular council meeting of June 17th, 2026 be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest.
Theme Mayor Lawrence, I have no.
And we have some minutes to adopt, that the minutes of the May 20th, 2026 statutory public and May 20th, 2026 regular council meeting be adopted as presented. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Lego. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. And we have a motion that the minutes of the April 29th, 2026 Municipal Truth and Reconciliation Committee meeting be received. Moved by Councillor Van Breda, seconded by Councillor Costco. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. And finally, a motion that the minutes of the March 26, 2026 District of Kenora Home for the Aged be received. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Termination of items requiring separate discussion. Item 7.1, Robert Street zoning bylaw amendment. I will lift that as it has options for decision. 7.2, emergency purchase landfill bulldozer. 7.3, 7.3, award contract prime consultant services for water standpipe replacement detailed design project. Councillor Cassidy. 7.4, Infrastructure Ontario financing of Bigwood servicing extension project. 7.5, an award RFP number R014-2026 Sioux Memorial Arena and Fitness Center, retrofit analysis and structural assessment. The council awards, where I'm going a bit too far there. I could just leave it at that. Councillor Costa. 7.6, land sale and transfer, Hillcrest Block B. 7.7, land sale and transfer, Hillcrest Block A, Lot 3. 7.8, bring your own events permit tailgating. Grado. 7.9, August council meeting date, change location of September regular council meeting. That's sort of a comma there, and then change location. Councilor Costco. 7.10, 2026 municipal election, restricted acts and delegation of authority, bylaw number 37-26. All right, we have looked at then 7.1, 7.3, 7.5, 7.8, 7.9. Seven one, 7.3, 7.5, 7.8, 7.9.
Requiring some discussion, yes.
And we will have a motion to adopt the items not requiring a separate discussion, item 7.2, 7.4, 7.6, 7.7, and 7.10. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Cassidy, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And tonight we have a delegation. Well, playing photo ops, the presenter is Christine Hoey, the staff want to introduce these here.
Certainly, through Mayor Lawrence, thank you. And just very briefly, we did just receive word electronically that Councillor Tinson is going to be able to join us this evening, so you'll mark it on us having sent her rejects. I'm very happy to introduce Christine and Jade from the Community Branding Committee. They're here this evening to present a really exciting idea for the community, and we'll turn things over to Christine and Jade. Thank you.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I'll just quickly just talk a little bit about the history of the branding committee, how we came to sort of what we're doing, what we're presenting today. In late 2022, Michelle LaRose gathered a bunch of people, probably 30 people together, to come up with an idea of branding Sioux, not other than Hub of the North, but in addition, because Hub of the North means nothing to the visitors that come from the south or east or west. Hub of the North means something for us more than anything. So after a whole day of sort of consulting and ideas, we came up with Daryl Morgan was at the meeting. There was 35 at least. Todd Naden, all of the big businesses came in to talk to us about what we thought. It was really great. So it all came down to, you know, what was the best things about living in Sioux, and everything's moments away, everything's minutes away. So we did Sioux Life in Moments. So after that, we were tasked with trying to come up with some ideas of how to continue the scheme, the wording. So if you'll notice, since 2022, the committee has met on a regular basis, almost monthly. We went from a 35 committee down to a 5 committee because that was Michelle LaRose's plan, was to have us just be a small group of people from different walks of life to meet, to come up with ideas, to bring them back to the municipality, to agree to them, and then move forward and then on to the next project. So since fall of 2022, we have redesigned and replaced the highway signs. So 2 on Trans-Canada, Highway 72 and 516. We have come up with some promotional marketing, the folders and the pens that you see. We also, through Brian, we have joint business cards. So on one side is all of the chamber's information. On the other side is all of the municipal's information. So when people are coming to the travel center or to the municipality, they get both of ours, has both our websites. We also came up, so we've printed those folders like as you see, and they're available at the travel center for anybody who wants them. If you're making a presentation, you're going to do anything, you're recruiting for human resources. Basically, you open the folder, it's blank inside, you can put whatever you want in it, but then it shows that everybody's sort of on the same page, sort of thing. At the same time, we have produced the pull-up banners that you see in the municipal downstairs. We've got banners in the travel center as well. We've replaced the Hudson's Welcome to Hudson sign. We have paid for the flower baskets in Hudson and Sioux, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. That's been sort of on our mandate, working with the rec center. We replaced the sign at Cedar Bay. We replaced the handgun and rifle club sign. You'll notice when you're driving out to the dump, it stands out, it's reflective. We have the banners in the downtown core. Fingers crossed, the banners on Wellington Street will go up this year. I know that the Public Works is sick of listening to me, but yeah, we'll hope so. We have replaced the signage at the TIC, the old brown government sign that said, welcome to Sioux. We put those on so it stands out. We did put banners at the airport. We did not think how windy it would be, so we lost literally all 20 of them. But it looked beautiful when they were there. So we might want to think of something that's a little not so wavy, like that might be more permanent. We also, at the same time, replaced the 4 dead trees at the town beach. There was 4 trees that were planted in the original thing, and we went to Home Hardware and replaced them, and probably did it on Sunday when we weren't supposed to, but anyways. So to this point, Jade, Jenna Wisnowski, Alana Pizio Carroll, and Katie Positano are what our committee is right now. What we have been trying to come up with things that are different to Sioux that are unique. So we hashed this out probably for about the last 6 months, and what we want to do is create these skeleton looking float planes that could be placed in 6 to 7, maybe 8 locations in Sioux. On the base would have the word Sioux, obviously, Life and Moments. We would also attach a QR code that would not only tell the history of this one in example is the de Havilland Beaver, of its history, but also its history in Sioux. So they could snap a picture, take the QR code. It could be attached to both the municipal website, the chamber's website. So then it gets them to our websites as well, but also is a little bit of history. So all the visitors, what I envision is if mayor and council agree to us moving forward with this, our next steps would be to apply to the Mat Tax Committee to ask for the funding. Sam Hildebrandt feels like he can do this. Each one of these would cost somewhere between $3,700 and $4,700 in total. The work behind it, like the QR code and that kind of stuff, would just be, we would work on doing stuff through the chamber office and the staff to get the history and everything done. But the plan would be is that if we could place 2 this summer strategically in Sioux, then maybe ask for 2 next year and 2 the year after, such as, so the beaver, the otter, the water bomber, all of the float planes that are sort of has some sort of history here. We were thinking Abram Lake Park, or not even Humphreyville Park, possibly Frog Rapids, the little pull off there, maybe somewhere at Second Sandy, obviously the town beach, maybe the travel center, whichever works. What we would do is, if again you agree to it and we get Sam working on the project, we would then contact whoever from the town needs to work with us to go around and pick the locations. So we know the locations are set, that things are in thing, and then we would ask the Mat Tax if we make this a 2 or 3 year project where we don't have to go back to them next year. Municipalities agreed. Mat Tax is giving us the money for over a 3-year term, and we have all the locations set. I mean, I think it would be super unique when people come to town. You take your little map, and it's like, oh, there's one here. Oh, there's one here. Oh, there's one here. You take your visitors to town. You just anybody, even the locals, right? When they're taking pictures, I think with the history, with the M&R and all the pilots and anybody that's been here, I just think it would be a huge, and it would be super authentic to Sioux. And no, any place I've ever been, I've never seen anything like this. I've seen ideas, but I think it would just be really super unique to us. That's my presentation.
Thank you. Very good. Wonderful work. Thanks, Christine. Council, questions? Councilor Lego.
Maybe also, I think we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
In Hudson, the stair plane.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
And maybe something around by the airport, even by the water or something where they have the little parking area where they can put the float planes in. So just some other ideas for you.
Yeah, and like I would think what I'd do is, again, who would ever be involved with helping us pick the spots, we could go get in the vehicle and drive around and like say, okay, here's our 10 spots that are, reasonable that we could do. And like Joni had mentioned is, what does the foundation under it look like? So obviously it would have to be in a spot that is not going to sink or not going to flood or, that kind of stuff. But it would be nice to have the water in the background of all the photos, but that's not necessarily going to happen, right? But you'd get the gist of it, right? Sam I met with him a couple of times. We've talked about different projects. These will be hard enough that you cannot bend it with, like, physically bend it with your hand. Like you'd have to drive over it to wreck it, he said. Like you couldn't have one person could be physically strong enough to destroy it. And he would make it with the metals / steel that would not rust.
Mr. Crossman.
I really love this idea. And like you said, the history of Sioux with aviation, we're sort of trains, planes and automobiles, right? So this is a fantastic idea. I'd love to be able to help you pick the spots. And I think this is great. And we really appreciate doing collaborative projects with you. You're an important part of the community and we love the work that you do. So I think this is great.
Just on this, the list, and I can't remember all the places, and I know that at least one of them wasn't a municipal.
Right.
Park is municipal, but the other ones probably were municipal largely, I'm not sure. So you would work with the committee to have choices and then work with staff on.
Yeah, I think we'd come up with like I said, we'd come up with like maybe 10 ideas and then if we do 6 or 8, or who knows how many, once we start investigating all the planes that that were here at some point, I think it'd be really cool to have, again, then like a little bit, we'd have the next 2 winters to investigate like all the history, have a proper story, pick the location, have it ready to go, and then just, okay, Sam, make those 2, right? Ready to go, kind of thing. And I know that like the Mat Tax Committee is, they're big, the biggest, is to promote Sioux and beautify Sioux. That's our mandate, right? And I just think it would be like, again, very unique, very super cool to have, Joe has family coming in from out of town and it's like, let's spend the afternoon, even if it's a rainy day, let's go, let's get in the car and let's go find all the planes, we can do a little map or,
Does anybody object to this, by the way? But I didn't think so. So CAO, just the process here, because it's Mat Tax, that's up to, it's a separate application, doesn't come to council. The locations don't necessarily have to come to council, but they would have to go through municipal staff if it's on municipal. What's the process here, Dave?
So generally, if there was a subsequent decision to be made by council, then we would do a staff report and bring it back. But in this case, council sounds supportive of this. And so if in this case, if council just wants to say to staff, we would like you to work with the branding committee to implement this project and to provide input on possible locations, that is sufficient.
Very good. Well, I think council, we can say that we're very supportive, and that the locations, I don't want to see the locations come to a council vote. Thank you. I'd like to see that there's consensus among the people who are doing the work. And also that there's, all the in municipal, we don't want to see it in blocking whatever.
and a place where people can pull off, like, and we're not gonna have it where, then now it's, you
I
can't
think-
pull off safely to go and take a picture. That would be the key. And like, I love the idea of Second Sandy. I just don't know where at Second Sandy it would be. Because it's, gravel and right, but so that's kind of what we're looking at is drawing people to the certain locations and then,
Doesn't sound like it'll float away if the water gets too high. That might be a consideration. It's,
yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's why I said.
sounds good.
I just have a procedural question. Like, if they're gonna do this, do they have to, can they they can do the work themselves, right? Independently with just consultation, right? Like they don't have to wait for the municipality to do the groundwork. They have the freedom to do it themselves.
Yes, so
Yeah.
all we would need to know are the locations if any of them happen to be on the municipal property.
Yeah. And then, of course, they check to make sure that there's no hydro water.
Yeah, the
Things
Ontario
like that.
calls them part of that or whatever
Yeah.
location. Yeah.
Sounds like you have full council support and look forward to seeing the first ones.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Thank you very much for all the work you do. Thanks for collaborating.
So Mayor, was just so that we had clear direction on that, I've drafted a brief resolution for also consideration. So the council supports the branding committee's slow plane history project and direct staff to work with the committee on locations.
Good. Moved by Councilor Lego, seconded by Mr. Costco, all in favor? Carried. Thank you.
It was Cassidy.
There's Councilor Lego sneak in here again.
Look, I
Warm.
I'm really glad this late into the term, we still got one on you.
you guys are full, that was Councilor. Oh dear, I'm going to read, this one, can I just read option 2 and put that on the table to table this, or how should I approach this?
Sure. I mean, if you like, you can just read the bold text for each options, and then that sort of explains what the options are.
All right, so item 7.1, 38 Robert Street zoning bylaw amendment. The council receives the planning report dated June 17, 2026, respecting zoning bylaw amendment number Z01-2026, and there are two options. Read them both then. Option 1, approve the zoning bylaw amendment application with a holding provision requiring a noise study. Option 2, approve the zoning bylaw amendment application without a holding provision. Can I put it on the table by, can I ask for a mover and then we move by? Councillor Costco, seconded by Councillor Lego. Council discussion, this was, sorry, I didn't, oh, I lifted this. I think we've gone through the process that's required. And I think, you know, we had the statutory public meeting. And there were comments from the public, and we had comments from CN. And others. In my view, this is a minor change. It's going from a 4-plex to a 5-plex. It requires an official plan amendment. Is that the way that we term that? And there's a process involved. We've gone through the process. I feel we've covered our bases in terms of appeals. And I'm all in favor of option 2. Councillor Gospel.
I've driven there minimum of 30 times looking for the excessive traffic, which I've been unable to find. This is a low traffic area. So I can't see any problem with what Mr. Morgan wants to do. The Morgans have built high quality properties for many, many years in this community. And we need to be grateful that they're providing us with housing. You know, the public needs to recognize that the only way that we're going to be able to stabilize taxes is if we can increase housing. The only way we can stabilize rents is if we increase inventory. And I know someone said to me, this is just one unit. But if you allow every developer to build one extra unit, every person who's building a garage to put a unit above, every person's building a new house to put a unit in the basement, like that's the way we're going to solve our housing problem. No one's coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. And, you know, the Morgans are contributing to the community to help us. And we need to acknowledge that. They build high quality products. That this is going to be for seniors, which will free up some houses that seniors are living in. It'll be a domino effect. And I really think that anything to do with housing, we have to promote. And as far as CN with their noise, well, we live in a railroad town.
Yeah.
Like there's no one, like you probably have to live 5 miles out of town that you don't, I think you hear trains in Alphona. Like there's not very many places. I've just traveled across the country and almost every small town I went to, you can hear the trains all night long. I mean, that's just the nature of where we live. And I don't think we need a noise study to figure that out. We all are well aware of that.
We've heard the council. Councillor Cassidy.
No, I'm fully in support of this as well. I think it's, I think the lot's the right size to do this, to add the additional unit. I think that's reasonable. And I actually found it interesting with the data presentation that we had last year. I looked at the street with when they tracked locals, and it was a low area for how much traffic was on there as well. So I think we're in a position to move ahead on this.
Further council? No, I think we could have been open to an appeal had we not listened to the people and gone through the excellent staff report that came back. Thank you. And with the noise study, I think the recommendation, as I read the report, is that the municipality will undertake some kind of noise study, which we can then make available to any developers. And the next time we won't have to. Go ahead, give me the building here.
Through you, Lawrence, yes. So staff's proposing that in 2027, we budget to do a noise study within the 300-meter buffer north and south of the tracks that CN seems to be concerned about. That way, because we know CN is going to continue to, you know, request this requires. And if we don't do it, then CN may appeal our decision. So in order to be proactive and to support development in the community, staff is suggesting that we undertake that noise study within that corridor. And then as developers come forward, looking at infill, looking at, development within that, which is essentially pretty much the entire downtown core, or urban Sioux Lookout, then we can just give that study to those developers and avoid some of those additional challenges in the future.
And that study, you're going to propose that in a budget, the 2027 budget. We're not approving it now, we can't, but it will come for the next council. If there's nothing further, does anybody in the public wish to speak? Very good. I'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.3. Award of contract, prime consultant services for water standpipe replacement detailed design project. The council awards the contract for prime consultant services for the water standpipe replacement detailed design project to S. Burnett and Associates Limited in the amount of $754,267.77 plus HST. And further, the council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 39-26, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement between the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux Lookout and S. Burnett and Associates Limited for prime consultant services for the water standpipe replacement detailed design project in the amount of $754,267.77 plus HST. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Van Breda, and Councillor Cassidy, you lifted this.
I guess my question on this is, I remember the presentation we had a few years ago about this and the cost. And then I see just the cost for consultants here is, it just seems considerable given the scope. Is this, you probably don't have all the answers, but has there been a lot of increases in the consulting world related to these types of projects, or like, is it just the world we live in now here?
Well, if I could start with that one, through you, Mayor Lawrence. So what was presented to council a number of years ago was a solution from a firm that wanted to sell its wares. They did not consider any geotechnical investigations. They did not consider that perhaps building instead of just buying one from them may be a better option. So staff had to go back and do our homework and not just take their word that their solution is the best solution. And thank goodness we did, because a number of things have come up in the initial exploratory stages that would have put us in a less than ideal situation had we just gone with that option. So like all major infrastructure projects, to do it right the first time, this is sort of the process that we will need to go through.
No, I totally understand and respect that. I guess it's just the drastic change in what we've kind of been presented with and what's here. And I guess the other question is, and I don't know if you have that, but given the cost of the consulting fees, do we have a ballpark that what we might be looking at for the actual full construction cost, the construction cost?
If I may add to the cost, the amount includes more than just the design. The contract includes detailed design, geotech investigation, survey work, tender preparation, and provisional costs for construction administration and inspection, and also commissioning and warranty support. Approximately half of the contract value relates to future provisional services that would only be utilized if and when the project proceeds to construction.
Okay.
And in regards to cost, I believe we have an estimate of approximately 4 to 5 million, depending on the final design, market conditions, and project scope. One of the primary goals of this design phase is to refine that estimate and provide council with a more accurate construction budget before proceeding to tender.
And thank you, yeah, sure. So yeah, I think that's also important to underscore that approximately half of the money that's listed there is provisional, depending on what's needed through that initial phase. So it may not end up being the 700 and some thousand. So And the other thing I think that's important to point out as well is that, like all water and sewer projects, this would be funded through the water sewer reserves and long-term debt, which would be serviced through water and sewer revenue. So this won't impact the tax base directly. I just wanted to highlight that as well, because I know we have a number of large ticket items on our 10-year capital plan. So just wanted to clarify that.
That's, thank you.
Also, completing the design positions us to pursue future provincial and federal funding opportunities while also providing a clearer understanding of the construction budget.
Councilor Van Breda.
My question was, so this RFP talking about the detailed design of the infrastructure, but what about the artwork, right? Because I want to make sure that the water tower looks nice and that people feel that they have a voice. So because this one that we have now, that was through an art competition, right? I believe.
I'm not sure.
And we're being told that it was.
Councilor David.
I was in grade 8 when that was took place, and I think Susan McLean or Harding
Oh, what?
signed one.
So it would be nice if we could have something like that again, right? So people, I feel like up to like, their voices being heard of what it's going to look like for the next 40 to 50 years, right? So
Yeah, and put this in your pockets for.
Yeah, we can definitely consider this.
But in a few, 100%, there's an opportunity here to showcase the community somehow and make it. And to the design cost, just my experience back in my previous life and civil engineering design of this stage, 5 to 10% of project capital value would be in the investigation design tender stage. And then an additional 5 to 10% in the construction phase. So by my math, that makes a $3.5 million to $7 million capital project. That's typically, that puts you in the ballpark. But it's, if they said 5 million, somebody, I think that's not crossing.
Now, with this, because we're doing this project and also the sewer expansion project, which are both going to be paid for from water and sewer user fees. So will water and sewer user fees have to go up? Because these are like major money projects.
Right. Through you, Mayor Lawrence, great question. So for this sewage treatment plant, water treatment plant, yes, we'll be looking at between 4 and 6 million contribution of municipal funds in addition to the 16 million that we received from the province and the feds. And then this would be another. So once we have a better idea of what those actual costs are, and then of course we also have to remember that these will be taken out through long-term debt over the life of the asset. So unlike some of the long-term debt we take out, that's 10, 20, 25 years, these will be like 35, 40, perhaps longer.
Take Councilor Lego's grade 8 year and figure out how.
There you go.
It's not many decades.
No. So that will help avoid significant spikes in water rate increases. I do know that our treasurer is looking at that again, and we'll be bringing that back next winter, or sorry, later this fall to set rates for 2027, because there was an opportunity to increase rates this year. We held off on doing that, so council will be asked to look at that again probably in November.
And the other thing is on the design, I think the TRC would like, the traditional name of Sioux to be up there as well, right?
Absolutely. So lots of going to have to factor in the artwork and design and public consultation phase.
It'll be your toughest challenge. Very good. Any further discussion, council? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.5. Award RFP number R014-2026, Sioux Memorial Arena and Fitness Center, retrofit analysis and structural assessment. The council awards the contract for the Sioux Memorial Arena and Fitness Center retrofit analysis and structural assessment to Q8 NASA Limited for $178,500 plus HST. And further, the council authorizes the passing of bylaw number 36-26, being a bylaw to authorize the mayor clerk to execute a contract between the Corporation of the Municipality of Sioux and Q8 NASA Limited for the Sioux Memorial Arena and Fitness Center retrofit analysis and structural assessment. Moved by Councillor Van Vader, second by Councillor Cassidy, starting with Councillor Costa.
You know, we budgeted 100,000 for this, and again, similar question that Mr. Cassidy just had. Now it's 178.5. So were we just out, or it seemed like $78,000 substantial amount of money when we were expecting 100,000?
Yep, so I mean, I think through you, Mayor Lawrence, the reality is that these fees, you know, we base them on what we've seen in the past couple of years, and then we put them out, and then it comes in that much higher. These fees just continue to increase. I also believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but we did only get one bid on this one. So when you're dealing with only one bid, you're not seeing a lot of competition. So
But once we, like procedurally, if we only get one bid, don't we have the right to go and shop around now since it's substantially over what we expected?
that's an option. I don't expect we're going to get anything less expensive, just because the firm that did bid has a lot of historical information on this facility, whereas another firm will be starting from scratch. So I would expect it would be 230 plus would be the next level.
But as the CBO on that question, CBO wouldn't, my memory is that the project, because one, you've called a tender proposal, one firm has put their price out for the public consumption. They've given their price out. So don't you have to change the scope of work if you're going to retender? Otherwise, it's an unfair playing field for.
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, we do have a clause in the RFP that we can, we can kind of end, not go ahead with the project, we can retender the project. So I think based on what we have in the RFP itself, we probably could retender it, but you're probably right. We'd be looking at maybe reducing the scope in an effort to reduce the cost. And it's, the reality, it's hard to predict how these costs are going to come in. Just to an extent, this isn't something we've done before at this scale with the size of a building. So it is hard to predict.
The other question that I had is, like, this is a lot of money. So are we going to so they're going to go in and investigate. We're not just getting an opinion that we can't do this. We're actually going to get the solutions and the designs for the solution. Is that correct?
Through you, Mayor Lawrence, yeah, the intention is to get for each kind of facet of the final report, you'll get a conceptual design and Class C cost estimates for each kind of each step or each element of what we expect in return. So then it would come back to council with, to look at maybe the next steps of what we may do and what we may not do with this facility.
It won't be a detailed design suitable for what tender, because we're not sure we want to go to. This price would be higher than that. This is a Class C conceptual design. You decide, yep, that sounds like good in concept and we're comfortable with cost. Let's go ahead with that element, do the detailed design and get.
But they would have a solution, like, let's say, for example, for the mobility issue. They're not going to say, we can't come up with, there's no access to mobility. They're going to come up with an actual solution and concept in drawing that we can see and visualize and decide how to move forward.
Yeah.
Through your else, yeah, that's the intent, yes. And it could be that it's just out of reach for this facility, and that's something we should find out with this project.
And just one more question, one more thing in my thing. I do have a concern about what happened with the staff, like where it was posted in our update that a new arena, and I sent it to you, and the next steps had clearly outlined that they were looking for land, whatever. And I just want to make sure that this process is a legitimate process, that we're looking for solutions here. We're not already up here and just getting a no that we can't do this, that this is a full on genuine process where we're looking for solutions.
Through Mayor Lawrence, yes. And just to clarify, I did go back and look through some of my notes and minutes from last fall, and what's on our website. So what was in the report is accurate. We have been told and directed by council to explore things on a parallel path. We are looking at this as the first step. Then preparing potentially for a future facility. If this facility can only last 10 years or 15 years, there will be a key decision point in 2028. So we had gone through those specific timelines. Some decisions will be made in 27, some will be made in 28 as we gather this information. So there was a typo in that particular update when it said new. It should have referred to the existing. So that was an error, and I do appreciate you catching that. But just to clarify that, yes, we are looking at retrofit feasibility first, and then council will make decisions at that point, and then from there we decide, okay, we'll do some retrofit, and maybe this gets another 15 years. But then we still have to continue planning for a new facility for what happens at the end of those 15 years.
Councillor Bassett.
Yeah, I was just gonna comment for Councillor Costco that just all the deliverables are on page 4 of that report. So that says everything you're supposed to give us.
Also, anything further? I'll call the vote, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Seven point eight, bring your own event permits. Tailgating. The council received the report dated June 17, 2026, titled Bring Your Own Events Permits, Tailgating, and further, the council approves maintaining existing municipal alcohol policies and prohibit bring your own events within the municipal. Moved by Councillor Cassidy, seconded by Councillor Van Breda, and start the discussion, Councillor Van Breda.
I think just to make a quick point that I think it's important that we say to the province, thanks, but no thanks for this. You know, when we do the delegations at Roma and at AMO, you know, we're told by the Solgen that it's up to us to reduce our calls to service, right? That we're being told, you know, we have to do what we can within our power to reduce our calls to service. And I think that us saying no to this and saying, no, we're going to maintain our existing alcohol policies, we can bring that back to, you know, AMO and Roma when we make the delegations and say, you know, these are what we're doing, right? We're able to say, we said no to this. Hopefully, maybe, I know that we're meeting next week about alcohol availability in our OPP calls to service next week with Brian as well. But I think here right now, this is an important first step that we're taking, saying, you know, we're taking a step, we're taking a stand that maybe we don't want more alcohol available in Sioux.
Council?
Yeah, I wrestled with this one a little bit because you know, there might be events that, you know, there may be groups in the community that may want to entertain this. But then the more you think about it, it's, well, if they're going to go to all the trouble, they're going to need the liability insurance, they're going to need to sell tickets, they're going to need revenue to offset their cost to even host this because of how much it's the liability. It just makes more sense to maintain status quo, they get a special occasion permit and they sell their own alcohol and they have better control over what occurs. I think this was more intended for bigger centers for tailgating and stuff like that. I don't think it's practical in the community here. So yeah, I don't think we need it.
Just returned from a public health conference in Toronto, the Alpha conference, and among other things that were on the agenda, alcohol was on the agenda. And I think I would put it in these terms, that if you think of alcohol now as we were beginning to think of cigarettes 30 years ago, that's where we are with alcohol right now. It's going to be a slow shifting change. And that was 25 years ago. I think the big, was 20, maybe 30, big push, the creation of smoking rooms, designated smoking rooms, where and there was, people were aghast at that, but it moved along to, and the smoking rates in Ontario have dropped from something, I don't have the tip of my tongue, but something like 30% to 15%. I think we've cut smoking rates even, I think it's even bigger than that. The target is 5% by 2035. But I think if you think of alcohol in the same vein, then this is, we're on the cutting edge of the public health, of science, of societal change that I think will be coming over the coming decades. So I think it would be retrogressive to not support this. That's my opinion. Yeah, I see it.
And through your Lawrence, I did just today have a quick call with some of my counterparts in northwestern Ontario, and it seems most municipalities are going to be dealing with this. Either they did last week or they are in the next couple of coming weeks, and we all seem to be in the general moving in the same general direction with this type of recommendation. So.
And I think I'll call a vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7.9, August council meeting date. Change location of September regular council. Let's doing that again. It's two separate items, right? Sorry. The council, notwithstanding section 4.4 of bylaw number 09-20, being a bylaw governing the calling, place, and proceedings of meeting of council, hereby authorizes that the date of the regular council meeting in August shall be August 12, 2026, to enable council members and staff participation at the annual conference. And further, the council, notwithstanding section 4.4 of bylaw number 04-20, being a bylaw governing the calling, place, and proceedings of meetings of council, determines that the September council meeting shall be held in council chambers, municipal office, 25 Fifth Avenue. Moved by Councilor Cassidy, seconded by Councilor Lego. And discussion. I didn't write a name down here. Councilor Coulson.
I noticed that we're live broadcasting the Hudson Commission in Hudson, so can't we have this meeting in Hudson? Because I thought we couldn't have it because we didn't have the technology. So if we obviously have the technology to do that, if the technology to do that.
Through Mayor Lawrence, it's the location. We're doing them at the fire hall, and that's just not large enough to accommodate members of the public, all of council, all of staff. We're looking at 5 or 6 people for a commission meeting. We're looking at 10, 15 plus people for a council meeting. So that's what.
Any further, council? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. That brings us to the conclusion of the items requiring separate discussion. So we'll go to bylaws.
To Mayor Lawrence, I received a knowing glance, so I will volunteer to read.
It had been the bottom of the page, but then you went on.
As we do. To Mayor Lawrence, members of council, the following bylaws are being presented for 3 readings and passing this evening. Bylaw number 22-26 being a bylaw to amend the municipality of Sioux comprehensive zoning bylaw number 85-18 as amended. This is respecting 38 Robert Street, and it will be bylaw option 2. That will be passed this evening without the holding symbol. Bylaw number 31-26, a bylaw of the corporation of the municipality of Sioux to authorize long-term borrowing pursuant to the issue of debentures to Ontario Infrastructure and Loans Corporation, OILC, in the principal amount of $1,702,000 toward the cost of capital works. Bylaw number 32-26 being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute agreements and documents regarding the sale of the hereinafter described land by the corporation of the municipality of Sioux to 1001535-981 Ontario Inc. Bylaw number 33-26 being a bylaw to authorize the conveyance of hereinafter described land by the corporation of the municipality of Sioux to 1001535-981 Ontario Inc. Bylaw number 34-26 being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute agreements and documents regarding the sale of the hereinafter described land by the corporation of the municipality of Sioux to 1001535-981 Ontario Inc. And bylaw number 35-26 being a bylaw to authorize the conveyance of the hereinafter described land by the corporation of the municipality of Sioux to 1001535-981 Ontario Inc. Bylaw number 36-25 being a bylaw to authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute an agreement between the corporation of the municipality of Sioux and Humane Maskey Limited for the Sioux Memorial Arena and Fitness Center retrofit analysis and structural assessment. Bylaw number 37-26 being a bylaw to authorize the delegation to the chief administrative officer, municipal clerk, and the treasurer to conduct certain business for for the municipality of Sioux and its council during the 2026 municipal election restricted acts period. Bylaw number 39-26 being a bylaw to execute an agreement between the corporation of the municipality of Sioux and S. Burnett and Associates Limited for prime consultant services for the water standby replacement detailed design project.
And then bylaws number 22-26, 31-26, 32-26, 33-26, 34-26, 35-26, 36-26, and 37-26, and 39-26 be read a first, second, and third time and passed. Moved by Councillor Lego, seconded by Councillor Cassidy. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. No notice of motion, outside resolutions. And we have council reports. And tonight I'll start with Councillor Anderson.
Okay, we had the TRC meeting on May the 26th. And it went well, and then we had the OPP detachment board meeting on May 28th with the police service board and detachment commander Inspector Mike Price gave the report from the Silicon office. We just reviewed the report and all the numbers, statistics from the different areas that they cover. And also Pickle Lake was, we reviewed that report as well with this attachment meeting. On June 4th to the 7th, I was at the Federation of Canadian Municipalities meeting from June 4th to the 7th. So I did just a little picture show here, and you can see that. And this is at the airport. When you first come in, they're already showing the FCM and the welcome from Edmonton at the airport. QR codes everywhere. No. And then this is the board for the different levels and what's taking place at each level all the time. And then even offsite, they had the Westin Hotel, and they did some of the activities and tours through there. So it was huge. There were escalators going down, elevators or inclinators going up, whatever you call those things. And then, yeah, so there was lots. On the first day, they had the Indigenous people come out and show their arts and crafts. They had a part of a sale thing there. And then this is just a slide from one of the presentations, and a lot of them are using these QR codes that people can refer to for some of their information. This is the lunchroom. So there was lunch at one end, the other end, and then the other half of the room was all the trade show. So it took a few days, I think, just to go through the trade show. It was massive. And this is me and Joyce. We went to one of the CN CN booths and got our hats. This is another slideshow from one of the presentations. So you attended maybe 2 sessions in the morning and then 2 sessions in the afternoon. And then the evening they had these receptions. They had the mayor's reception, and then other sponsors would hold different sessions. And at those sessions, you're eating finger foods or having drinks and talking to people from other municipalities and cities. Apparently there were 3,000 attendees. So that's mayors, councillors, presenters, and there was a lot of people. Building the future together was the theme. And this was another, they had a board election for the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And they listed all the different board members. There were lots. There was like 2 pages of just the Ontario ones. So they also had study tours that you could go on, the tour of the different places, parks, and different the green stuff. Um, this is outside. They had different musicians there each day, and then they had a Caravana one. There's a video of me dancing with them. So anyway, it was fun. What else? So we were going from morning till evening with all of this. And what else did they have here? As we go on, this lady, Fogo Island was a very good and interesting case of how she had started. They had started with nothing, and then they concentrated on their history, the fishing and the arts they incorporated into their economic plan. It was a good presentation. I really enjoyed it, and she was good. What else? And there's the 3 of us. We're going to the gala. This is the last evening, so we're decked out here. So, and this is the gala evening event. It kind of looked like ours. I thought the TRC.
Good.
And Ashley Collingbull was the MC, and they featured a lot of Indigenous performers, but they also did non-Indigenous performers. They had a lady on a big long string, and she was, oh, it was something else. But anyway, it was good. They opened up with the drummers, and the girls had the rattles and everything. So they did a lot of Indigenous. Featuring Indigenous arts, traditional. They prayed for the food. Yeah, the food was really good, really good. We had bison, short ribs, and they were so tender. Oh my goodness! They had popped wild rice, they had bannock, they had all kinds of things. Yeah, so they kept bringing food, then they would take it away, bring more food, then dessert. So we were just served. And we were sitting together there. Okay, so this is the slide that was made for when he was reading out the Emerging Leader Award for Reese. And there's the presentation on the stage that they gave him. So congratulations. And I'm not sure what else there is. So it was beautiful there some days, one day it rained. So we had all kinds of weather. It was cool, like 13, 14 degrees. And you had to wear a jacket, light jacket outside. It was cooler there than it was here when I looked. Yeah, I think that's the last one. Anyway, yeah, it was good. I really, really liked it. All the information, and I have lots of stuff. And I think, yeah, that's it. Other than that, we had and then I had to fly to Thunder Bay to attend the OPP boards, police services boards meeting. And we had it at at an OPP facility where they have the call center, and we toured their facility there. And it's amazing how they how many calls they take, how many operators they have. And there's one operator sitting there. I don't know how many, maybe 4 computer screens, and it tells them what's going on. And then it gives them a satellite view from up there to they can zone in right on the house and pinpoint where the person has gone within that house. And it's just amazing the technology that they have at that call center. But the board meeting itself, we reviewed a lot of different things like health and wellness for their workplaces, grant funding, which is interesting too. I have something that I could share with the municipality from that OPP billing model. the PPC floor tour that we did before lunch, service delivery model, recruitment strategy, um, a strategic plan overview that the OPP has, the Nord program, NORD program, and that has to do with Pekanjka, Big Trout, North Caribou, and Wapakika. So they did a presentation there. Then they did major incident emergency response and specialized operational supports like aviation and canine units. That was really good. The action planning and detachment commander evaluations. And then there was a little roundtable with closing remarks, but I was kind of wondering what would take place at this meeting, and there were really no controversial things that were discussed, you know, and it was just a place where we reviewed everything that we have to know. I guess it's part of it. All kind of reminded me of all the training that we take, you know, to be on this board, and I found it very interesting. And the next one will be in November. So we'll see what happens with the election, if I go or not, or whoever has to go. What else? There was another conference, but I couldn't make it, and nobody from Pickle could make it, or Solarcode could make it. And it was the big police services, OA, Ontario Association of Police Services Board. They have a meeting once a year, and this year it was in Niagara Falls, and nobody could go. One person thought he could go, and then another car, I believe, was gonna go, but she couldn't make it there, so, but it was last minute, and I was already going to Edmonton, so I couldn't make that one, but anyway, okay, and then on June 16th, we had a TRC meeting, and that went well, and we're working on the garden for the memorial, which is gonna be moved from Wellington to the Travel Information Center area. So there's a whole process that'll be done by other community partners that we've made through the process, through that healing process, because the memorial place on the Wellington now started in 2021, shortly after when the discovery of the 215 anomalies at the Kamloops Indian Residential School. And I believe right from the beginning, the mayor, Doug Lawrence, had gone there with the late Garnet Anshkineb and set up a wreath right after that came out on the news. And then after that, people kept bringing things. They kept bringing moccasins, candies, little mementos, and shoes. And then we brought out orange shirts there, and then slowly the shoes just kept piling up. And somebody had the idea to put them into the shape of a heart, and so that's how it's been for the last 5 years. But it's being moved now to another site, which is probably not which will be nicer because it'll be kind of overlooking the water. So anyway, that's the update for that. And other than that, okay, that's it for my report. Sorry for taking so long.
Busy month, good month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Ashkin and Councilor Lego.
I'll be short. I had one meeting, LCC, not a lot going on. Half load restrictions taken off the highway, so full loads can start going. And there were just some issues on Vermilion River Road. Slate Falls Nation was having concerns about some parts of the road being unnavigable because of them trying to haul trucks up these hills. So hopefully that will be resolved for next season. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilor Cassidy.
Yeah, for me, I will be short as well. Pace was postponed till I think next week, and then just had various hydro meetings, and just happy to report that we have hired a new staff with hydro, a new linesman. He comes to us as a third-year apprentice, which is pretty nice to get. You'll be almost ready to go on call and a little more self-sufficient, so it's there. That's all for me.
Thank you. Councillor Costa.
I missed the last meeting, so I haven't reported in 2 months, but I'm not going to report on the month I missed. I was away and I did log on and join the first TRC meeting from Kamloops. We also had a second TRC meeting this past Tuesday. Since I've been back, I've been working on the Memorial Garden project. I noticed that the sign framework is in place. So if you were wondering where it is, and go to the TIC, it is there. And the garden should be built hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow or Saturday. It should be there by Monday. And we are having a lunch. There will be a lunch served and an opportunity for people to plant a memorial plant. So we've got our plants and the Friendship Center's looking after them for us, and we'll have them in place for the 24th, 11 a.m. to 1. I went to the WASA 35th anniversary today. It was a lovely event. Very interesting to see how WASA has progressed throughout the years and their vision and their leaders. It was very interesting. Tomorrow I'm going to the WASA graduation and the committee of adjustments is tomorrow as well.
Thank you. And award-winning councillor Van Breden.
I'll keep mine nice and short too. Had to miss the environment committee because I was at FCM. Just a few things about FCM too that was important. So we did a study tour, and we did a tour of how Edmonton is redeveloping their downtown area, because Edmonton was once a very car-centric city, right? So now they're moving from being car-centric to now having public transportation. How I remember Jen was talking about this too previously, I think it was a few years ago, that how we can redevelop our downtown so that it can create vibrant communities, and how you can use like colors, designs, right, urban architecture to increase the vibrancy of your city. And I thought that was really cool to see in Edmonton and Ashley's hometown. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then also at FCM, I made a couple of friends with a few councils from Alberta and one from Manitoba. Showed them our budget. They were shocked how much money goes towards provincially mandated costs. They were shocked that we pay for land ambulance, that we pay for long-term care, that we pay for a number of agencies that they said, no, our province takes care of that. And then I was talking with one of the councillors from Alberta, and then I showed him the Ontario Sunshine List. He did not know that we had that in Ontario. And he made two comments that really stuck out to me. And I just want to share with staff too and for Brian. He said, does this Sunshine List have years of service? I said, no, it doesn't. And he said, does the Sunshine List have how many days they've worked throughout the year or how many hours they've worked? I said, no, they don't. And he said, so you're shaming people for doing a good job. I said, effectively, yeah, we are. I said, it's important. I think it is important that we know how much, for example, the CEO of OPG makes, how much the CEO of Metrolinx when another Toronto subway is delayed by 5 years, right? I think that's important to know. But again, he made a point of saying, this is why Ontario public service workers are moving to Alberta. That's because they don't want to be shamed for doing a good job. So I thought it was important to put on the record there that people know that. I know, Doug, my opinion about DSABs. I'm not going to repeat them, but a lot of things have been normalized in Ontario that should not be normalized, that we pay for. Just things have been downloaded onto us that are not fair. That's it.
I think you hold DSABs in high esteem. It's the fact that we have to have DSABs and the municipalities fund them is the problem, just to be clear.
Yeah.
You're not denigrating the DSABs themselves or people who work there.
No.
Thank you. Yeah, understood. And, to your list, a former resident of Sioux out and moved to BC and wrote a letter back saying, my God, taxes are way lower here. What are you guys doing wrong? Well, your policing costs in a community of 5,000 are covered by the province in BC. And then it's slight increases as you go up. Public health is covered by the province. Social housing is covered by the province. Land ambulance is covered by the province. Long-term care is completely covered by the province. And even something like the library grants in BC from the province are substantial. The library grants from the province here are minuscule. So, yep, the taxpayer is paying. It's just that the municipal taxpayer is paying much more in Ontario than the municipal taxpayer in every other province. Their income tax, their provincial income tax will be higher. Don't kid yourself. It is slightly higher there because of all that. But different way of operating.
Sorry, can I make one more comment? Sorry. Related but unrelated.
This has.
I found out too that somebody told me that half of Ontario's debt in this province, in this budget, half of Ontario's deficit goes towards hydro rebates. And that was supposed to be a temporary thing, I think 25, 30 years ago, 2003. They're saying now that temporary thing has now become half of our debt in Ontario in 1 year is through hydro rebates.
Wouldn't present that as fact until, like, if it is fact.
It is fact, yeah.
All right, my month, this month was KDSB board meeting and public health. It took up a fair bit of time with the Alpha Conference, the Association of Local Public Health Agencies in Toronto. It's an annual conference, and this year, every year, health units have the opportunity to sponsor the conference, to co-sponsor it with Alpha. The Northwestern Health Unit, we co-sponsor it for a small fee, and then we actually, it's really quite a small fee by the time you get your free admission to the conference. So I was one of the co-hosts and provided welcoming remarks, and my welcoming remarks, as well as welcoming all the people there, focused on the uniqueness of health units across the province and how each are unique in their own way. We're unique in more ways than many. I focused on three things for uniqueness: vaccines. In our health unit, we deliver more vaccines by the health unit than anywhere else in the province because pharmacies deliver less. The Ontario average is vaccines are delivered by 74% are delivered by pharmacies across the province. In the Northwestern Health Unit, it's 16%. Public health agencies deliver about 12% across the province average. We deliver 72%, and it's because of the geography, because of the capacity in pharmacies and primary care clinics, etc. Another unique one was alcohol and our extreme rates for hospital stays, emergency department visits. And another one was First Nations within a health unit catchment area. There's 29 public health units in the province. Of those 29, Waterloo has, I think, 3 First Nations in their catchment area. Sudbury has 8. 15 have 0. We have 39 in our catchment area. So designing policy from the provincial level to, related to vaccines, to alcohol, to First Nation engagement, Indigenous engagements by health units, there's no one size fits all. And that's one of the issues we're constantly dealing with is it's so different in so many different places. Anyway, that was the Alpha Conference. Strategic planning has been taking place seriously at the health unit over the last few months and will continue. And I had various correspondence and discussions with citizens, stakeholders, and other agencies. And I would like to thank Councillors Costco and Van Breda, who stepped up for the Pelican Falls First Municipal, and Councillor Timpson, who's out here for stepping in. I was away for a few events that come up at this time of year. Thank you very much for stepping up for the municipality. And now we move into closed session. At 6:44 p.m., the council moves into closed session to discuss matters of a general nature as noted below. Subject matter related to a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239(2)K. 2 items: possible land purchase in Hudson and Fair Street. subject matter relating to personal matters about identifiable individuals, including municipal or local board employees pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, section 239(2)B, 2 items, appointments to council and boards, commissions and committees, and CAOPA. Move on. Councilor Cosgrove, seconded by Councilor Cassidy. Favor? We are now in closed session. We'll take a minute.
I just
One
have
minute
a
break,
quick
then
Joe,
come back.
question, Brian.
Good evening, Marilyn. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Great, thanks. I see that our camera is dark for some reason. Just give me 1 second here. I think I can fix that. Yeah, I'm just trying to get the mouse to, oh, there it is. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Yay.
Now you can see some of us. Welcome, Marilyn. Of course, you're here in closed session with council, and myself. I'm Brian McKinnon. I know that we have communicated by email in the past and so on. I don't think that we've ever had the opportunity to meet. So very nice.
Not
to
in person. I think only this when it was Michelle's turn. So nice to see you again, Brian.
Exactly. What's that?
It's live right now.
Oh, okay. Well, let's fix that.
No, just now. It just, I was predicts that I put it on just to sure.
Okay, so
Thank you, Ashley.
yeah, just let me set it up.
Live.
I'm just looking for where I stopped. Oh, put it on the screen.
So maybe while you're doing that, hello, Marilyn, nice to see you again.
You too,
Hey,
Mary.
we'll just go around the
Great. A pleasure, Joe. Thank you.
Corey Lego.
Hi, Corey.
say your name and the camera will come to you, Darlene.
See if I can see it.
Darlene Anchino.
Hi, Darlene. Nice to
Hi.
meet you. I don't think we've met.
And Councilor Timpson is traveling to couldn't